Ever since King Von died, his killer hasn't stopped talking. From interviews to IG lives, Lil Tim's been out here breaking it all down.
Well, you pull out and you shoot 4 times.
Yeah, the gun jammed.
Oh, the gun jammed?
Yeah.
After the 4th shot?
Probably like the 3rd shot.
Okay.
But now, it looks like he's revealing even more because a new recording just started making the rounds. And if it's legit, it captures a moment nobody was ever supposed to hear. So what really happened that night? And why is this recording just now surfacing? Let's break it all down. The night everything popped off. To really understand this situation, we gotta take it back to the beginning. King Von was a straight savage in the Chicago drill scene, coming up under Lil Durk's OTF label and making a name for himself with his storytelling. Bro was different. The way he could paint pictures about street life and tracks like Crazy Story had everybody paying attention. Now let's set the scene for what really popped off that night. On November 6th, 2020, King Von and his squad pulled up to the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. In the parking lot outside the spot, a confrontation jumped off between Von's crew and another group rolling with Quando Rondo. Timothy Leaks, better known in the streets as Lil Tim, was with Quando that night. According to all the paperwork and interviews we've gone through, Lil Tim was actually on his phone when everything first kicked off. He wasn't even tuned in to who was beefing at first.
I was on the phone when it first happened, so you really could just like, by me being on the phone and getting my partner all the way up, cause he hadn't woke up, but he like, damn, we here already? Cause like, he had just dozed off. He wasn't even asleep for that long. So it's like, it was just like a shock or shocking, cause like, shoot, I was on the phone when it first happened and I didn't even see him even walk up. Like,
this is major because it shoots down any narrative suggesting there was some extended interaction or conversation between King Von and Lil Tim before the smoke cleared. According to Tim's own words, he wasn't even hip to it being King Von in that moment. What the surveillance footage shows, and this tape has been all over the internet, is King Von pulling up on Quando Rondo and just starting to throw hands with no warning. Everything points to this being a random encounter. Nobody planned to cross paths that night. The footage clearly shows Von walking up and just straight laying hands on Quando with no conversation beforehand. When Lil Tim peeped his homie getting pressed, he says his first instinct was to protect his mans.
It's like, in my head, I'm like, why somebody with my little brother, you feel me? It's like, that's what's really going through my head at the moment when it first popped off. I'm like, damn, like, and then I'm knowing like we just got here, so I knowing he ain't did nothing to nobody out here for somebody to really want to do something to him. So in my head, just going through my head is like, why somebody with my little brother? Type shit. That was really going through my head.
According to multiple sources, including Lil Tim himself, he then pulled his blicky and let it bang at King Von. Things escalated real quick, with off-duty cops in the area returning fire.
Well, you pull out and you shoot 4 times.
Yeah, the gun jammed.
Oh, the gun jammed?
Yeah.
After the 4th shot?
Probably like the 3rd shot.
Okay.
The whole scene turned into complete chaos with multiple people catching bullets. King Von got hit and was rushed to the hospital, but he didn't make it. Lil Tim also caught 2 slugs during the incident, reportedly from the police who responded, taking hits to his hip and leg.
You ended up getting shot twice?
Right.
Well, what parts of the body?
I get shot in my right hip bone and I get shot on my ass. It go in and out though.
After everything went down, Lil Tim got booked and charged with felony murder for Von's death. He eventually got out on a $100,000 bond in March 2021. After the legal process played out, the charges against him got dropped in August 2023 under Georgia's Stand Your Ground law, which basically says you can use deadly force if you honestly believe it's necessary to prevent someone from getting killed or seriously injured. This legal outcome is significant because it means the courts looked at all the evidence and decided that what Lil Tim did could be justified as self-defense or defense of his homie. The Stand Your Ground law in Georgia basically recognized that Tim was moving to protect Quando from what looked like a serious threat. We have interviews where Lil Tim speaks on the situation from his perspective. In these conversations, he makes it clear that while he's not celebrating Von's death, he believes the whole situation could have been avoided if Von hadn't stepped to Quando in the first place.
When you did finally find out that it was King Von who died, how'd you feel?
I was like, damn. If Brian did that stupid shit last night, he still would have been alive. That's how I was. But I was like, I ain't no the type person I am. Like, I'm a humble person. I ain't no disrespectful shit to like his mama saying him and shit like that. Cause I could easily get on that type of stuff and be clout chasing type shit. Like, I ain't on that type shit. I'm a humble person, but it's like, at the end of the day, if they ain't never popped that shit off, that shit would have never happened like that.
In these interviews, Lil Tim has compared what happened to the infamous Tupac situation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of people actually compare this to the Tupac situation, where Pac went and jumped on somebody on a Crip that he should have put his hands on, and shortly afterwards, they go back and they end up killing him. Do you see comparisons to your situation and what happened to Pac?
Yeah, not 100%, but pieces, yeah.
Yeah, because it didn't happen right away. It happened a few hours later.
Yeah.
This Tupac comparison is interesting because it points to a pattern we've seen too many times in hip-hop moments of aggression that turn deadly. With Pac, he put hands on Orlando Anderson, a suspected Crip at the MGM Grand in Vegas, hours before he caught those fatal shots. People see similarities because in both cases, the person who started the physical altercation ended up being the one who lost their life. But Lil Tim acknowledges the comparison ain't perfect, especially since Quando Rondo, unlike Orlando Anderson, wasn't involved in any prior beef that would explain why Von came at him.
But ultimately, the same result.
Yeah.
Someone jumps on someone they shouldn't jump on, and that person, along with his crew, retaliate, which ends up, in the demise of the person who did it.
This brings up an important question. Why did King Von press Quando Rondo that night in the first place? Based on all the info available, including interviews with Quando himself, there wasn't any obvious beef between the two artists before this incident. Some people were saying it had something to do with NBA YoungBoy, who Quando was signed to, but nothing solid has been confirmed about that. Lil Tim has been clear that there was never any discussion about Von or potential problems before that night.
Nah, never did. We still to this day don't even talk about other rappers. That type, it don't even be on our mind. But like you say though, he never talked to me about nothing about that situation.
Without any clear motive, it seems like the altercation might have just been a spur-of-the-moment decision by King Von, possibly influenced by alcohol or just the vibe of the night. This lack of premeditation makes the whole situation even more tragic. A split-second decision that cost a young talent his life and changed many other lives forever. The fallout and court drama. The immediate aftermath of the November 6, 2020 shooting was straight chaos. King Von, critically wounded, got rushed to a hospital along with other injured people, including Lil Tim, who had caught 2 bullets himself. Despite the doctors trying to save him, Von passed away. The whole hip-hop world was in shock, losing yet another young talent to senseless violence. In the hours and days that followed, social media went crazy with grief, speculation, and of course cap. Fans and fellow artists mourned Von, while different stories about what really happened started spreading like wildfire. The surveillance footage of the incident went viral, but even with the tape out there for everyone to see, people's takes on what went down varied wildly depending on who they rode for. Lil Tim, who was in the hospital recovering from his own wounds, described finding out about King Von's death the morning after.
When you found out that King Von died, how'd you feel?
At that moment, I still didn't know exactly who he was. I just knew they were saying someone had died, so. And then it's they had me in custody, so it's I couldn't even see the TV and stuff. So I really don't know who they talking about. I just know they kept saying some rapper came in here last night and died. So I really didn't know who they actually was talking about. So, but in my mind, when I'm waking up, I know what happened last night. But in my mind, I just know I was just protecting my little brother.
While still laid up in the hospital, Lil Tim got locked up and later hit with felony murder charges for Von's death. According to his account, they didn't even tell him exactly what he was being charged with right away.
What did he say? He say something you're not charged. He said you just detained right now. You just detained right now, but you're not charged. He said something like that, but in my head, I already knew what was going on. So I was yeah, all right. Whatever.
It wasn't until they transferred him to Fulton County Jail that Tim found out just how serious the charges against him were.
It's boom, I don't really find out I get charged with murder until I get to Fulton County, because they never told me what I was charged with. So when I finally see my charge, I'm damn, they charging me.
The legal process that followed was long and complicated. Lil Tim's defense team argued that what he did was self-defense, or more specifically, defense of another person, Quando Rondo. Their whole strategy was based on Georgia's Stand Your Ground law, which says you don't have to retreat before using force to defend yourself or others. While locked up, Lil Tim had to deal with some serious health complications from his gunshot wounds. The doctors had to give him a colostomy bag, which he'd have to rock for a long time.
Now, they actually gave you a colostomy bag at that point?
Yeah, I had surgery and had a colostomy bag.
He talked about how hard it was dealing with this medical situation while being incarcerated.
Yeah, that was kind of that kind of threw me off, because it's I always heard about a shit bag, but I never had met a person in person, actually, and seen the real shit bag. So like, I always heard about it or seen it on TV or something, a movie or something, but I never had been right next to a person who had actual shit bag and told me how this work and this and this and that. So I'm asking the doctor 21 to 50 questions like, damn, well, what's this? I'm on this forever? Or like, you said I gotta get out of this so I can't out the regular way? Like, then he tell me I'm on a liquid diet.
After about 6 months in the county, Lil Tim finally got a bond set at $100,000. According to his interview, Quando Rondo came through with the bread to get him out.
Does Quando help you pay that?
Yeah.
Okay. You got lucky.
Even though he was out on bond, Lil Tim still had that murder charge hanging over his head, and his case kept moving through the system. During this time, he had all kinds of restrictions, including not being allowed to be around Quando Rondo, even though Quando wasn't charged with anything related to the incident. The legal battle dragged on for almost 3 years, with Lil Tim living with the possibility of a life sentence if he got convicted. But then in August 2023, something major happened. All charges against him got dropped. The dismissal was based on Georgia's Stand Your Ground law, with the authorities deciding that the evidence supported Tim's claim that he was just trying to protect Quando from what looked like a serious threat. Lil Tim described the moment he found out the charges were dropped.
Okay, when you found out that all the charges are being dropped against you, how'd you feel?
My mama surprised me. She made it seem like it was a emergency. She kept calling me like, Tim, like, come here, I need your help. Ooh. So I'm at my homeboy house. She making it seem like it's an emergency, but not a panic emergency.
The news caught him completely off guard after years of stress and uncertainty.
And then she like, whoa, you gotta go to the A tomorrow for them to cut the leg monitor off. I'm like, oh, she for real. This shit over with. Quan don't even know yet. Like, ain't nobody know. Like, just me, my mama, my grandma, my auntie, and my partner, only ones that know at first.
The reaction to the charges being dropped was mixed, to say the least. Lil Tim's supporters saw it as justice, arguing that he was just protecting his homie from an unprovoked attack. On the flip side, King Von's fans and associates were heated, feeling like Von's killer was getting off without any consequences. One of the loudest voices criticizing the decision was Asian Doll, also known as Asian Dabrat, King Von's ex-girlfriend. After the charges were dismissed, she went on social media to express how she felt, questioning how shooting someone over a fight could be called self-defense. Since when can you shoot an N-word for fighting a friend and claim it's self-defense? Them charges was dropped because his bullets didn't kill Von. Let's talk the real. I'm sick of these N-words lying. Lil Tim didn't hold back when asked about her comments.
You just look at her like, man, that dumb, man. It's like,
I agree.
It's like the whole world seen the video.
It's worth noting that Asian Doll's claim that his bullets didn't kill Von doesn't match up with the official facts of the case. The charges against Lil Tim were dropped based on the stand your ground defense, not because they couldn't prove his bullets caused Von's death. In Lil Tim's case, the legal system ultimately decided his actions were justified self-defense under Georgia law. This decision doesn't make Von's death any less tragic, but it does explain why the charges were dropped. It's also important to look at the cultural context around this incident. The hip-hop community has lost too many talented artists to violence over the years. From Pac and Biggie in the 90s to XXXTentacion and Nipsey Hussle more recently, we've seen this pattern play out over and over. These deaths have sparked ongoing conversations about conflict resolution, how violence gets glorified in music and media, and the social conditions that contribute to these outcomes. The King Von Lil Tim incident is part of this bigger story, raising questions about how disputes get handled and the value placed on human life. After King Von's passing, various tributes emerged to honor his memory and legacy. His posthumous album, What It Means to Be King, dropped on March 4th, 2022, featuring collabs with artists like Lil Durk and 21 Savage. The project was a testament to his talent and potential, making the loss to the music community even more significant. Meanwhile, Lil Tim tried to move forward with his own life and career. He dropped some music of his own, including the track Off the List, which some people interpreted as referencing the King Von incident. He later admitted that this release, which showed him digging in dirt in the video, probably wasn't the smartest move given his legal situation at the time.
At that time, I was trolling and I was fresh out, not really thinking smart. But it's like, my lawyer called me like, damn, man, is you slow or something? Like, why would you be doing this and you out on bond? And I'm thinking about it like, yeah, that is some stupid shit to do out on bond for a murder. So it's really like, in the past 3 years, I done matured, like, feel me? So it's like, some stuff I look back at is like, yeah, man, that probably was childish, or I probably was dumb, or something like that. Like, it was like a troll act at that moment.
The streets versus the truth. One common narrative that's emerged is portraying the incident as part of a bigger pre-existing beef between King Von and Quando Rondo, or between their respective camps, OTF and NBA YoungBoy's crew. While there might have been some tension, the evidence suggests that the altercation on November 6, 2020 wasn't the culmination of a long-standing beef, but rather a spontaneous confrontation. Lil Tim has consistently maintained that there were never any discussions about King Von or potential problems before that night.
Did you guys ever talk about Von or Dirk or anything else like that leading up to this?
Nah, like, never did. We still to this day don't even talk about other rappers. Like, that type don't even be on our mind. But like you say though, like, he never talked to me about nothing about that situation.
Yet, after the shooting, media coverage often framed the incident as part of an ongoing feud, with headlines emphasizing the rival affiliations of those involved. This framing contributed to a perception that the violence was inevitable, rather than the result of a chance encounter and split-second decisions. The narrative around Lil Tim himself has also been shaped by pre-existing biases and allegiances. To fans of King Von and Lil Durk, he's been portrayed as the op, a cold-blooded killer who took out a rising star. To those who ride with Quando Rondo and NBA YoungBoy, he's been depicted as someone who did what he had to do to protect his homie from an unprovoked attack. The truth, as usual, is more nuanced than either of these extreme views. The legal system, after reviewing all the evidence, determined that Lil Tim's actions fell within what's legally considered justified self-defense under Georgia law. This ruling doesn't make him a hero, nor does it make King Von's death any less tragic, but it does provide a legal framework for understanding what happened. The gap between facts and narratives is even wider on social media. Platforms like Twitter and Instagram became battlegrounds where Von and Dirk fans went at it with supporters of Quando and YoungBoy. This online beef has sometimes spilled over into real-world tensions, with artists from the respective camps avoiding collaborations or appearances at the same venues. One of the most concerning aspects of the social media narrative has been the slide for Von mentality. Calls for get back against Quando Rondo, Lil Tim, and their associates to avenge King Von's death. This kind of talk, often presented as loyalty to Von's memory, basically advocates for more violence and potentially more deaths. Tragically, this call for retaliation may have contributed to more bloodshed. On August 19, 2022, Quando Rondo's cousin and close friend, Lil Pab, was fatally shot at a gas station in Los Angeles. Recent developments have linked this shooting to members of Lil Durk's Only the Family, OTF collective, with federal charges filed against several individuals, including Durk himself, for allegedly orchestrating a murder-for-hire plot. According to federal paperwork, OTF members got the drop on Quando Rondo's location in Los Angeles and flew several people out there with the intent to smoke him. While Quando made it out alive, Lil Pab was killed in what appears to have been direct retaliation for King Von's death almost 2 years earlier. When asked about these recent charges, Lil Tim gave a surprisingly measured response.
I was like, shit. Some people was on there like happy and stuff. Some people was on the internet happy and stuff. I was looking like God just put it in his own hands, cause I can't really know what had really happened. But I was like, I don't wish jail on nobody, you feel me? Cause that's a horrible place. But I just looked at it like God put it in his own hands.
His response shows an understanding of how violence leads to more violence, acknowledging the seriousness of the situation without celebrating others' legal troubles. The cycle of violence and retaliation that's unfolded since King Von's death shows the real-world consequences of narratives that glorify revenge and street justice. What started as a spontaneous altercation has escalated into a years-long conflict with multiple casualties and numerous lives disrupted by jail time and legal battles. It's worth thinking about how different things might have been if King Von hadn't started that physical confrontation that night, or if Lil Tim had responded differently. It's equally important to consider how subsequent events might have played out differently if the dominant narrative had emphasized de-escalation and breaking cycles of violence rather than get back. When asked about this cycle of violence and the potential to break it, Lil Tim acknowledged how complex the situation is.
Sometimes you gotta give it some time. Sometimes it just be so fresh where you don't think it all the way through, but it's like 20, 30 years down the line, you just sat in jail for 20 years. You like, yeah, maybe it was a better way to take it or something smarter to do. But at the moment, you just be so but what they did, your child, you don't even care at the moment, but it be so fresh.
His reflection points to a major challenge in breaking cycles of violence. The immediate emotional reaction often overrides thinking about long-term consequences and alternatives. This dynamic is especially powerful in environments where responding aggressively to disrespect is valued and expected. Looking at the bigger picture, the King Von Lil Tim incident and everything that followed exemplify a pattern we've seen too many times in hip-hop and urban communities. Conflicts that escalate to violence, followed by retaliation, creating cycles of harm that affect individuals, families, and whole communities. Breaking these cycles requires not just legal interventions, but cultural shifts in how conflicts are perceived and addressed. This was all from our side. If you enjoyed watching this video, watch similar content by clicking on the boxes playing on your screen.